Hey folks, in this quick video we're going to look at a fast and slick trick to having your website load as fast as possible for return visitors. It's easy to do, it works like a charm, and should ultimately be a no-brainer if you're in the game of SEO optimization and you want to improve user experience as much as you can. One general method to speed up page load times is to reduce the number of HTTP requests required to pull your content from the server. And of course, to reduce the amount of content or data that ends up going over the network. And one great way to do this is to reduce the number of times a certain file is downloaded from the server so that it can be rendered on the browser of your site's visitor. If they visit your site 5 times in 1 week, and the content on your site hasn't changed, then why have them download it all again and again and again? Your 76 kilobyte index file, your 124 kilobyte CSS, your JavaScript, your images, and so on. They're sucking 213 megabytes of content through dozens of HTTP requests through their bandwidth when they first visit your site. And if they visit 5 times just to see the exact same content, why choke up their network with over 1,000 megabytes of content when it's completely unnecessary? Instead, it's much better to store some of that content on their local machine the first time they visit, then load it back up from there whenever they visit the site again. Less bandwidth over the network, less number of HTTP requests, and obviously it's going to take a lot less time to render that content straight from their hard drive instead of from the server. So the name of the game here is leveraging local caching on your visitors' machines. Now obviously this won't apply to users who have their browsers set to automatically clear their cache after every use, though there's not that many people out there that do that. Or if a user wipes out their search history and clears the cache, same thing. Or if a user does a hard refresh on your web page, then they'll be starting from scratch again when they want to download your site's content. But for over 99.99% of the rest of the time, for most users around the world, they're going to be sitting there with an available cache to use. So one great way to reduce those HTTP requests is to set expiration headers for content that isn't going to be changing anytime soon. Like maybe your images, your JavaScript, and your CSS. By adding these expiration headers, you're telling the user's browser to go ahead and save that content on their local machine until that expiration date, instead of requesting it over and over again. Less HTTP requests and less data transfer, which means faster load time. Better functionality, which can lead to lower bounce rates, to more time spent on your site, and yay, everybody's happier and your SEO rankings get a boost. After all, again, why waste time with a return site visitor downloading the same content over and over again? Content like your CSS, if it's going to be the same every time. So let's go ahead and do that. All I need to do is go to the root directory of my website and find my htaccess file. This is a hidden file, so if you don't see it, be sure to go into your settings and enable the view of hidden files. And add this mod. We'll have users cache our CSS for 1 month after they first visit our site. Then all those subsequent visits during that month won't require downloading that CSS again. They'll pull the rest of the site from the server and use that stored CSS in their cache to render out the style elements. Faster than pulling that off the server too. And save. Sweet, now we're all done. But what happens if we change that CSS before the allotted expiration date? For instance, if we do a revamp of our site and completely overhaul the look, or we even make a tiny change in the CSS, like the font, the background image, or any other alteration. Now that we have those expiration headers, repeat visitors are going to have that old CSS stored, and this may wreak havoc on the display of our website, especially if we've made any changes that affect the layout. Well, don't sweat it. A super easy workaround for this is to simply make those CSS changes and save the file under a new name, like version 2. Then be sure to upload it into the appropriate folder on your server and point your HTML to that new file. Easy peasy. Now visitors that come to your site for the first time will get that new CSS and store it. And repeat visitors that come to your site and have the old CSS, well, that HTML reference will tell them to grab the new CSS file and store that instead. All smooth sailing. Feel free to check out our other videos so you can keep fine-tuning and getting the most out of your SEO. And click subscribe to stay updated with new tips and tricks to get you to the top of the search engine results pages.